in the freshman class, I just keep saying Tom. I don't want to think anybody think he's a singer or anything, but he's given us just what I thought he'd give us. He's got incredible leadership, brought some toughness. When Draymond Green leaves here and says if there's ever a freshman that should be a captain, it's him. That's about as good a compliment as you can get. What we have looked at a little bit is him playing the point, Trice at the 2 and Valentine at the 3 at times, because he brings the ability to push the ball, get people shots, and is very good defensively, even though it's small in stature. Javon Best, you know, at the end of the year, he came on last year, and he was the Ohio Division I Co-Player of the Year, and probably when we got him this summer, I said, this is the diamond in the rough guy. This is the guy that I think could end up, you know, a great player. He's got toughness, he can shoot it, he's 6'6", he's got long arms. He brings a lot to the table. Unfortunately, we're not going to see him for a month or so, and that's too bad for us, and I feel bad for him. He really took it hard. He was the guy that we almost kicked out of here because he just spent so much time in this place. And Marvin Clark, the strongest player on my team. That includes Brandon Dawson. Incredible strength, and he can shoot it. He's a lot like BJ, not quite the athlete this way, but he can really shoot the ball. He is a three-point shooter. What he's got to get better at is guarding some people, and for such a strong kid, he hasn't rebounded as well as we'd like him to yet, but we're working on that right now, making some progress. We should be able to make him better in those areas. And the last kid is Kenny Goins, who could have gone to a lot of schools, a scholarship player, and I have enjoyed him. One of the best students on our team, phenomenal athlete, and long arms, and plays bigger than his 6'6" frame, where I thought we'd probably redshirt him. I don't know if we will now. I think we're going to try to look at this kid and see what he can give us. Try to get him a few more minutes. Could be a 4-man, can guard people, can block shots, shoots the ball decent. In a nutshell, before I open up for questions, I think we do shoot the ball better than last year. I don't know if that'll continue, but I do. Even though we lost Payne, who was a great shooter, for a big guy, I think collectively we're a better shooting team right now. We played pretty well defensively. We're not the biggest team. We're a smaller team, but a lot of teams in the league have gone smaller. A couple teams that will play like a Kansas, maybe a Duke, maybe a Wisconsin. They're going to be real big, could create some problems, but maybe we create problems for them. So all in all, I'm excited about it. It's not as much fun when you're not picked as high. You know, last year we were 1, 2, 3 in the country, and but it gives you something to work for, and I think, you know, we need to earn the right to be back up on the top. It shouldn't be given to us because we aren't deserving of it right now, but I do think this team has a chance to get there before we're done. A million questions, I'll take them all. I know, the World Series is tonight, it's 3-2 the Giants. Who we pulling for, Kansas City?
I just was texting somebody wants to go.
I know, who we pulling for tonight?
Kansas City.
Just so that it goes to 7 games?
Tigers Division, American League,
Okay.
loyal guy, you know. So I'm glad you're talking about it though. It is baseball season. Hey, you tied Judd this year. If you survive the season, you tied Judd 20 years.
Oh.
Give me some perspective on that.
I didn't say my tee shot range because he's faltering, but...
I mean, when you started here, could you have ever believed 20 years?
No, I really couldn't. In fact, when it was brought up to me, it does, number one, it doesn't seem like it most days. A few days it does, but number two, it's, you know, I just think of my 31st year here and how do you last that long in a place. Ben Holland was here yesterday to watch practice, and Clark Kellogg, in fact, they're coming back today, and they mentioned that to me, you know, who stays that long anymore? And not many do, and so I guess I'm privileged that I'm still here, and but excited to be here, and looking forward to more than a couple more years, that's for sure.
32 wins, you have 500.
32 wins, I have 500, so what, I'm 500 behind Krzyzewski, is that what it is?
You run the table.
Yeah, I run the table. Back to baseball, next question.
Tom, to your left. With Bess going down, does that increase the urgency on Clark then? Is that the first thing you think of in terms of the rotation early, or?
No, it really doesn't, because Clark, we're playing more at the 4, even though he's not a huge 4. It probably, you know, again with, I'd say Alvin Ellis a little bit more. I mean Clark some, but because I could have moved Bess all over just like I could move Valentine all over, but it just puts a little more urgency. This week we were going to try to start him. You know, we've been looking at different guys in that starting group with the 3 guys that we think are going to start. And this was going to be his week to try it. And, you know, he's just a very solid, heady, smart, tough. And that's one thing he brings. He's tough. He's not afraid of anything. And so I feel bad for him. I mean, he really took it hard. He's a quiet kid that took it hard, but it'll be okay for him. He'll figure it out, and we'll miss him for a while. Hopefully, get him back.
Tom back. Expectations every year with this program seem to be super high, sometimes not as much. How much do you enjoy as a coach when last year had its expectations being what they were, and this year they're maybe down a little bit, not to the outside, maybe not inside the program, but how much do you enjoy these types of seasons where you get to grow?
I would say the opposite. I'm trying to think on when expectations have been down in the last 15 years. They haven't been very often, but sometimes they're more down inside because we know what's going on, where the outside world just expects you to be there. And, you know, I don't know if I enjoy either way any different. I mean, I'd always rather be picked 1, 2, or 3. You know, I really would. I mean, that's pressure, but it's good pressure. I don't look at this as trying to prove people wrong for where they picked us. Because if I would have picked us, I would have lowered my standards and picked about like some of you guys picked, you know, and just because I think that's what, you know, that's what cards were dealt right now. You lose a lot of good players, you're not going to be picked this high. And, but, you know, we've been picked low. We've been, I think, a 6th seed, made it to a Final Four. We've been surprise seasons like 06 or 08 and 03, you know. I look back at some of those. There's only a couple of surprises where we weren't very good and we ended up pretty good. But I like this team. I said it all year. I like this team right now. It's been a fun team to coach. You can get after them. People are, you know, nobody's entitled to anything. It's fun to have guys that want to prove themselves like BJ and Trav and Zell, and it's fun to have freshmen that come in like Javon and Tum Tum who, you know, weren't given anything. You know, Tom brings a whole different mentality as a human being, much less as a basketball player, and I like that, you know. I can appreciate what he's been through and what he's done, and I appreciate where he is, and I think he helps. I've never seen a team rally around a guy like they have him. You know, unfortunately, though, we still got to play good, you know. So I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of challenges. I don't want to use a Aaron Packer quarterback because I don't know what's going to happen early. But relax might be a good word. We're going to have to see what goes on as the year goes. Because we got some tough games early. We may win some of them, we may lose some of them. But I can almost guarantee you this is going to be a better team in the middle of December. And I think a very good team by the time the Big Ten season starts. It'll be interesting, I think, for all of us to see what happens with a schedule like this. Because you just never know how it's going to, you know, you react. I haven't looked at, okay, who do we play in a row? I don't know, but it's going to be so different than it's been in the Big Ten. It's been different in football. It's going to be way worse in basketball, I think, as far as not knowing where you're at sometimes. And so patience will be a key. Not expecting that for fans, not even media, not even me, but I'll keep preaching that to myself because we have the makings of enough good players that it will be fun to see if we can rally them and make them better defensively. I mean, the two weakest areas of our team are what have been our strengths most years. We don't defend quite as well yet, and we don't rebound quite as well because we're not as big. But that should be my challenge if nobody else's, because that's what we've been so strong at year after year after year.